Hello everyone, this is AJ. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new DC Universe animated movie Catwoman Hunted. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Catwoman Hunted. I've just had the opportunity to sit down and watch it, and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. Now, like I said, this is the new animated film from DC Universe line of animated movies that they seem to be knocking out pretty damn quickly at the moment. So, Catwoman Hunted follows Catwoman in a heist attempt to steal a priceless jewel. This puts her in the crosshairs of both a powerful consortium of villains, Interpol and the Batwoman. So this film is rated PG-13 for violence, bloody images and some suggestive material, which comes in the form of some sort of suggestive sexual content between Batwoman and Catwoman themselves. Catwoman hints at it with her, during this bath scene and this sort of stuff. Let me do it.
Ooh, nice and hot. Wanna test it?
Yeah, I'll trust you on that. Pretty much only on that.
No. Such a suspicious mind.
This film has quite a damn good voice cast to it. Elizabeth Gillis plays Catwoman. Stephanie Beatrice of Brooklyn Nine-Nine fame does Batwoman. Lauren Cohen from The Walking Dead as Julia Pennyworth, one of the Interpol agents. Jonathan Banks, who you will know from Breaking Bad and its sister series Better Call Saul. Keith David, very famous actor. Jonathan Frakes, Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, so it's got a very extensive voice cast. Now, I didn't know what to expect from the film. I hadn't seen the trailer, hadn't watched the trailer or anything like this. So I was a bit taken aback at the opening scenes. They weren't what I expected. I went into the film and it's got this very sort of Japanese anime style vibe to it, going throughout with the characters with big eyes and sort of pointy noses when it's side on.
Excuse me, I must pay my respects.
Finally later.
Oh, count on it.
There's these monsters in the film that look in it that look like they're out of Japanese anime. There's sort of robotic things that you get from that you see in Japanese, and all this sort of stuff going on. Now, it's very different in its animation style to other DC projects we've got, which is a bonus for it, but also a downfall, because the animation was rather distracting for me as the film progressed. Some minutes I was thinking I like the animation, other times I was thinking it's too anime. So there's not really this consistency with it. And I think that's just me personally. I'm not big on anime myself or this sort of a thing. Now, the story of the film obviously opens with this attempted heist and Catwoman gets caught, and thusly Batwoman Interpol, if you don't want to go to prison, you've got a hell pass, blah, 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 and this sort of a thing. And then it takes them to some different countries and story-wise, it started to bore me because it just seemed to be action set piece after action set piece after action set piece. You've gone from like being an Asian country having fights to straight away going to Paris, and you've got Catwoman up the Eiffel Tower, only to find she's been chased by the League of Shadows up there. And it's literally within a minute you've gone from the end of one fight scene into another fight scene, and so there's no let up, and that's how it seems to go all the way through. Now it runs for about 79 minutes, 80 minutes, which sort of went quick enough, I suppose. I mean, it got to a point where I didn't realise the film was going to finish where it was. It was sort of wrapping up, and I was thinking, is that it? Is there another act to come? But there wasn't. Now, the voice cast, Stephanie Beatrice as Batwoman seemed very flat, and I recognised the voice. I did recognise the voice, and I wasn't sure who it was, but I was like, I know that voice, and I had to look, and then it just Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, Elizabeth Gillis as Catwoman, she was exceptional. She played it quite seductively. She knew what this role required, and thusly she was very good in it. Now, in comparison to Stephanie Beatrice's voice, which I suppose is probably suited to Batwoman in that it's sort of monotone and quite harsh, so to speak, but Catwoman's very much like that. So now the soundtrack, the score to it doesn't work for me because it's jazz music, which is interesting in the sense that it's different and not been done, but there's points where the jazz becomes very overpowering to what you're watching, and it starts to grate on you. This is me personally, not being someone who loves jazz or anything like that, because jazz is just noise, and that's what it was, just noise as the film progressed. So that didn't particularly work for me either. So really, I had issue with some of the animation. I've had issue with the soundtrack. The voice cast, like I said, was very good. It didn't sound flat and as though people were recording at different times in different locations. There was a good sort of bounce off of people, so that stuff was fine. Some of the action set pieces were choreographed, as animation can be choreographed, very well. They were quite well done and quite enjoyable to watch. There's a fantastic car chase after the first heist at the beginning, which looked very good, that went from mountain roads down into through tight, cramped like little town, and that was very good and handled very good. And some of the fight choreography in it again was pretty damn good. The animation, like I said, I know I say about the anime style, but beyond the characters being anime, everything else was fantastic. I like the animation, the world that they inhabited, but not so much the characters themselves, and this anime look. But some people, it's for some people and it's not. It's like art being subjective, isn't it? Same with animation being subjective. Some styles you might like, some styles you might not. Anime doesn't particularly work for me overly well, but that's just it. So this isn't a grandiose release or based on any sort of comic book of any fantastic background or anything like this. It's a sort of Batwoman film. It's a little known DC film that will just slot in there and probably won't take the world by storm or anything like this. So for me, it's sort of a middle of a road DC movie, and that's the best I can give it, unfortunately. Anyway, time for some trivia about this film. Yes. Now, okay, every single character within this film, or every single voice actor within this, has been in a DC project before in one way or another, whether it be on TV, in film, or voicing other animated characters. Yes, I mean, Lauren Cohen, for argument's sake, she played in Batman vs Superman. She was Batman's mother. She was with Negan at the beginning, as is his parents when they got killed. So every single person has worked for DC before in one capacity or another. Now, Stephanie Beatrice, who was Batwoman, she wanted to actually play the role of Batwoman herself when Ruby Rose left the TV series, and she pushed for her to get the role, but obviously she didn't. And Elizabeth Gillis, who voices Catwoman, has actually on one Halloween dressed up as Catwoman for her costume. Yeah, so just a couple of little bits of trivia there for you with regards to this film. But anyway, so that's it. That's me done. This is AJ. Thank you for watching. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting that notification bell, and let me know down below when you've seen this film what you think of it and what your thoughts are of it. Now, I am a completist and I will be getting the steelbook. It's on pre-order for me, so I will have the Blu-ray coming. I'll do an opening of that when it comes. Even though I've been critical of the film, I've been a comic collector for 35 years. I've got a wealth of comic book, and before all this MCU stuff came about in like 2008 and that, and when you had the X-Men and Spider-Man back in the day when I used to read comics, the films we got were few and far between. You had Batman, you had Superman, Marvel couldn't get off the ground. They had things like their 1994 Captain America movie, The Punisher, you know, they weren't doing particularly well. So the stuff that we get today, I could only dream about, and thusly, you know, I'm swamped with comic book material on screen. So as a completist and a real good comic book fan, I have to get everything that's comic book related, regardless of my thoughts on it. It's just what I have to do. It's my thing. But anyway, so this is AJ. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.